Welcome to the part of the crew of Chasing Color. It's now 2022, 3 years after we filmed in 2019. We're filming in Myanmar. Actually, it was like 3 years almost to the date, because now it's like October, right? So we're like 3 years and 1 month after the fact, after filming. Not quite after COVID, we still have COVID, but it's still like, definitely after the first 2 years of difficulty. I have Rob with me right now, and we're in Tokyo. So we're here meeting up to do another film together, and we just thought that we would release Chasing Color at the same time. So Rob, welcome to Tokyo.
Oh, thank you. It's my first time here. It's wonderful.
So we've been here for a couple of days just trying to catch up, and we were going to release Chasing Color a little bit earlier, but we had to do a lot of other things. So, we just had to be...
Business before pleasure.
Well, I mean...
Business before pleasure.
I did not say that. I had to get my nails done to come on this. So, it's like...
Priorities.
It's been my priorities. So now we're here, and we're going to talk about Chasing Color. So... Rob, I've heard a lot of people asking me, why have we taken so long to release this? And, there's always been I know that we've had a lot going on, but we are not the only people that have had a lot of things going on. So obviously we had COVID, but Myanmar has had a change of government. It was very difficult for them for a very long time. It still is. I think it was a year ago. When this whole thing, year and a half ago, when they experienced a whole change of government. And at that time, I was saying to Rob, I was like, I don't know that we should release this now, because we just want to make sure that it was going to be the right time and that wasn't going to create any issues. But more than anything, we just want to make sure that people were ready for it. I mean, Chasing Color is a short film. It's 24 minutes. However, it does address a lot of things, so we just want to make sure it's the right film at the right time, pretty much. So, having said that, let's talk about this. 3 years after the fact, you filmed Chasing Color. You've done a million other things in between. Then, how do you feel about releasing this? Now, what's going through your mind, your heart? I don't know.
I think the world's changed.
Yeah.
The world's changed in the 3 years since we filmed it. And
definitely has.
And I think as a filmmaker, shooting documentary, it's sort of taught me to see the world differently. And so I think I'm just much more, I'm just much more dialed into the world and the way the world works and the way some things change. But at the end of the day, everybody is still human and people are still people. And I just find that really interesting. And I think that's kind of coming back to Chasing Color, after all this time. I don't know. I learned a lot on that experience. It's kind of strange to be releasing it now, all this time later, but it was such an extraordinary opportunity for me as a Caucasian American going to these for me, exotic, extraordinary locations, meeting some of the most generous, wonderful, selfless people I could ever have imagined meeting.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really did change my perspective on the world. And my only hope with the film releasing it is that other people see, they see the things that make us all different, but they also see the things that make us all human. For sure. I mean, I want to come back to this, but I want to also say that since we shot this, Mogok is no longer open. You cannot access, you can't go there now. We want to go back to film in Mogok, but unfortunately it's now closed. So those of you that hadn't gone to Mogok prior to 2020, possibly 21, I can't remember exact dates, but those of you that were wanting to go but haven't gone, it's unfortunately closed. And so having this incredible footage of a place, a glimpse,
right, that's no longer available for us to go, as in terms of from the West, it's really mind-boggling. I mean, I think that we were very lucky. Right place, right time, and obviously we had a lot of help from my partner Govind and the entourage, everybody else in there. We were extremely lucky.
Yeah, I mean, the access that we got was so far beyond what a typical tourist's access would have been.
Yeah.
A typical tourist walks the streets,
Yeah.
tries out a couple of restaurants, and then goes back to their hotel every night. But we had local people bringing us into their homes, sharing their food with us. We met families. We met friends of families. It was just an extraordinary insight. I mean, I really did leave that place feeling like I was taking a part of it home with me. It was an amazing and such a it was just a complete experience,
Absolutely.
total experience.
I mean, absolutely. You know, it's really weird. You know, I was looking at the amount of footage that we actually had. We had 2 weeks full of footage, and yet the film was only 24 minutes. So, I mean, we have all this footage that you will probably not see or haven't seen, and there are some amazing, like, it's footage that wasn't relevant to the film, but it was relevant in the sense that because we were able to capture all these moments. I mean, I think there was a footage where you were like in the temple, and you took the footage of the 4 boys or 5 boys that were in the temple that was never actually in the film.
Yeah.
But we have footage for it. Like so, I mean, little things like that. I think that I'm glad you captured other things aside from what was shown in the film. So I was really grateful for all the footage that we had. Having said that, as well, like now we're on our new project, and we're looking at doing. Well, not so much the same thing, but we are definitely looking at a thread which is gem based, and it will be that as the common denominator between that documentary and this documentary. I guess what do you think now? Looking at that documentary and realizing that, oh my gosh, there's some things we could have done better. There's some things that we could have done, worse. I know we could have done worse. I mean, what am I saying? Sorry, me not speaking English at the moment. It's like very early in the morning for me here right now. What have we learned from there, and what are we doing like this time around in terms of what not to do or what to do?
I don't know if there's anything that I've learned not to do, but I definitely think that there is there's a kind of, I don't want to say strategy, but there is a way of filming documentary that is at once very sensitive to the subject, because you don't want to ever come off as exploitative. You never want to come off as opportunistic. But you really are after a moment, or you're after a look, or you're after somebody's soul. Like, you want to see that person for who they really are. You want to really understand what their life is like. And I think the more honesty and sincerity you as a filmmaker or a producer brings, or gem dealer for that matter, brings to the table and says, this is me, I'm here to connect with you, and I'm here to respect you, and I want to learn from you. The more you do that, the more you get back. And I think the more you're able to partner with people in the making of a film, whether they're in front of the camera or behind the camera, the more it becomes a holistic group effort. And I think the more everybody gets out of it. I certainly wouldn't want people coming into my native land and pointing a camera in my face like I'm some sort of a specimen. I want people to appreciate me and want to know about me and learn about me. And I feel like at the very least, I owe that to all of the people that I meet and film in my journeys as a filmmaker.
Absolutely. So, interestingly enough, when we first started this, it was, hey Rob, why don't we meet in Bangkok? We don't know each other from, we had no idea who each other was. We had like 2 phone calls.
Yeah, but they weren't even FaceTime calls. They were just phone calls.
They were like 10 minutes. I was like, okay.
So she could have had a bag on her head, and I wouldn't even know.
I could have. We met basically in Bangkok, and we went, okay. We had no script. We had no idea what we were actually going to shoot. I was like, okay, just shoot me, follow me around, and give me something for it, because that's what I was looking for rock stuff. Yeah. And that was Rob's only job description. It was like, there was nothing like saying, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to go to Bangkok. We're going to go to Mandalay. We're going to spend 10 days there. It was like, there was none of that. So after all that, after shooting, how crazy was it to win all these nominations and awards? I mean, I was like gobsmacked. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So what did Chasing Color win in terms of, like, we had the Oregon.
Yes.
So we had the Oregon documentary.
Right. Oregon Documentary Film Festival. Yes. The biggest one was the Newport Beach Film Festival, which is a fairly prestigious film festival. The fact that we got into that, to me, speaks volumes about the quality of the film. and the kind of insights that the film provided. I think not many people go to Myanmar, not many people film in Myanmar. So just the fact that we had the access that we had, I think was one of the main reasons why that film was accepted, because people saw things they had never seen before. And to me, that's absolutely the most exciting part of the whole experience, was like seeing things that they were sacred things that I don't think that many people know about or will ever have the opportunity to see. So yeah, I think for a lot of these festivals, they were like, this is something new.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely did not go, we did not go and shoot this to put in the film festival or have as a proof of concept. But, you know, it ended up being a whole bunch of stuff that we couldn't have even imagined. So like Chasing Color, folks, were really, really important for a lot of reasons. It wasn't just a film. It's not just a film that's about gemstone trading. It's not about me buying and selling gemstones. It's about a whole host of other things, which you'll see covered in the actual film itself. I want to ask a lot of other questions in terms of production. You know, coming home and sort of like looking at all the footage that you had, and having to assemble everything, knowing that you had to color it, you had to put sound to it, music, etc. What is the single thing that you wanted to convey when you actually, like, what was it? Like, what was the thread that you wanted to convey, or what was the, I'm putting you on the spot. Like, what is Chasing Color all about, really?
I think as a filmmaker, as a documentary filmmaker, that's a question you're constantly asking throughout the entire process. So like while shooting it, you're asking yourself, what is this about? What could this be about? But like, you're not an actor.
No.
As we all know. And so it's really important to give you the space to sort of discover your own story. And then for me to sort of foster that in any way I can. And then in the edit, in the post-production of the film, to try to identify what that through line may be. So to your question about what is the movie about, to me, it's about appreciating the places that you go and giving back to those places, and not just taking, but giving back. And thereby fostering a cycle of reciprocity. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Which I think is such a critical thing, especially in the gem industry.
It totally is, because it doesn't happen that often. So when it does happen, it's a really good thing. I want to also touch on India, because obviously we spoke about Myanmar. The film is split into 3 countries. I'm not sure if I'm doing any spoilers right now. The film is split into 3 countries. We're covering Myanmar, Thailand, and India. I want to talk about India. Some of the images and some of the footage that you got from India were like absolutely amazing. And I want to sort of bring all these things up. There's parts of the film, which I won't spoil it for the others, but you'll see there's parts of the film where we actually get to see parts of Jaipur. And it was just the color. I definitely felt that it was made in such a way that one would think that they were actually immersed in the actual experience itself. Jaipur was a very interesting place for many, many, many reasons. And it's interesting for me as a gem dealer, because there's a lot of us that go to Jaipur and we buy and sell there. But there's also a lot of us that go there, but we don't really see the people, we don't see the transactions, we don't really know what happens in Jaipur. So for me, Jaipur was equally as interesting as Myanmar. So I want to ask you a couple of questions about Jaipur. That was the first time you went to Jaipur. And suddenly you had a whole bunch of footage from Myanmar. You was like, I'm not really sure what I've got yet, and you started shooting Jaipur. What was the first shot you did? Like, what was the first shot that ended up being in Chasing Color? I'm really 20 years wide right now. It's like 3 years ago. And what was your first impression of Jaipur? Like going in there as a filmmaker and wanting to, direct this film, I guess.
Well, India is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And I think as a filmmaker, it was actually very easy, because I just filmed my experience, which was to lean into that chaos. But it's chaos, but it's there's extraordinary beauty there as well. You cannot point your camera and not capture some stunning thing. We have moments in Chasing Color, plenty of moments that are not in Chasing Color, but that we managed to film anyway, of animals walking in the streets, wedding ceremonies with bejeweled horses,
Lots of cows.
Cows,
Yeah.
monkeys frolicking around, and then just like, and then some of the most stunning cutting sequences that I've ever seen all took place in Jaipur.
Yeah.
My favorite shot in the whole film is the guy. There's some sort of green liquid.
Oh, that was malachite. He was cutting malachite, and there was like liquid just pouring out of it.
It was such it's a stunning image. You'll know it when you see it.
Yeah.
And to me, that portion of the film is all about color. I mean, literally, that is
Yeah.
the color that you are chasing, is that area.
Yeah.
So I think there's an overwhelming beauty. There's an overwhelming chaos. I think that segment of the film does a pretty good job of balancing the two acts.
Yeah.
Where it is very chaotic and you're driving around and it's crazy and it's harem-scarum.
Yeah.
But then when you're making your deals, what I love so much about filming these sorts of deals as they're being made is that they're watching you, waiting to see what your reaction is going to be.
Yeah.
But I'm filming them, waiting for you.
Yeah, it's like person watching person watching.
Yes, and they don't necessarily know that I'm filming them because they're too busy looking at you. So what you end up getting or stealing are these really fabulous human moments because there's a kind of a poker face going on, but at the same time, there's also a person behind that face. And I found a lot of those human moments. I have another favorite moment of mine while you're making the gem deal. There's a gentleman sitting in the back, gradually falling asleep.
Yeah, because it was like, I've had enough
They're
of this.
long marathon deals. Again, those human moments are just that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like, like when I first watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, am I really like that? Like, was that really me? Because I don't see myself as being like a tough negotiator. Like, I'm like, hey, what about this?
Yeah.
But obviously,
You have a poker face. You have a poker face for sure.
I play poker for a reason. So it just ended up making
your nails are the way they are for a reason. Yes,
ta-da.
Yes.
But yes, no, I was like, I was just trying to get a good deal at the end of the day, but that was really cool. I guess like now that let's go back to like releasing this now. What's the last? I mean, what's the main thing or the last thing or the one thing you want to like tell people about Chasing Colors before they see Chasing Color? What should be like what's the I guess like the single thing that they should keep in mind while watching? Like sometimes people just filmmakers would like to have people just watching it and sort of like just have their own interpretation of the film themselves, which is basically what most filmmakers do. But I mean, I don't know. I just say for me personally, guys, before you watch this, I want you to keep in mind that this was made. So not only was it made 3 years ago, it was made as Rob being like the main camera person. We had very limited equipment in Chasing Color, but the results were amazing. Like, I don't know how he pulled it off, but he did pull it off. It was incredible. And so, yeah, if there's anything else that you might want to add.
My parting thought is just kind of my overriding philosophy when it comes to travel in general, which is what I think I tried to put into this film, which is that no matter where in the world you go, get connected. Get connected. Don't just go as a tourist.
Yeah.
Go as a visitor. You know what I mean? Like, go as somebody who's there to learn and listen and interact with local people and leave a part of yourself there. Don't just take, but give back.
Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching this short interview between Rob and myself. I hope you enjoy the film.
Same.
Yeah, and if you have any comments, please leave it down the bottom of the post for the film or on here. If you have any questions, ask us. I will tag Rob, and I'm sure Rob will be only obliged to respond.
Of course.
All right. Great to see you guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Okay, good. Well, that was great.
Oh, gosh.